Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Massive development overnight with regard to this Ascension situation. The Guards rejecting their spot in the Partnership League for next season. Riot Games then saying no, nobody else is coming in instead. Loads of teams and players understandably with massive backlash to this. Riot tried to explain their decision making last night, but again they got lots of backlash and I think understandably for it. There's lots of nuance to this situation on both sides. Gonna dive into it all today. Very much enjoy your perspective in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Now, before we touch this situation with the Guards, have to mention Rostermania because there's a lot happening there as well. Even as Sabrosa says, this roster shuffle is, wow, expect the unexpected. There is lots going on right now. And this also from the potential Liquid core. Seems like Jumpy, Safe, and Nats are potentially going to be staying around. And then the rest of the players are very much up in the air. So big changes happening on that front. And also we saw this morning from NIP announcing their entry into the Chinese VALORANT scene. So I imagine, right, they will be coming in as one of the potential partnership teams. Now, there has been some debate as to whether this is an eligible team, just because I believe one of these players is Chinese, one is Taiwanese, and one is from Hong Kong. So, you know, but knowing Riot, right, they'll probably think, you know, they'll probably allocate all of those as China, and therefore it's fine, I guess. So, I don't know, obviously going to be a little controversial on that one, but I believe that is what's going on there, and I'm sure more updates on that to come over the coming days. Quickly from XSET as well, they actually responded to the players trying to, well, they're actually going to sue them, right? There's a court order going on to get the 50% of the money they were supposedly owed for the Champions Bundle. XSET responded and said, needless to say, we totally disagree with what was written in the complaint, and we look forward to proving that the contracts were not amended, as is now claimed. So, yeah, that's going to be a big underlying storyline of the coming weeks, but this is the big one, and if you guys missed last night's video, and you guys have missed this story, living under a rock for the last day, VCT confirmed yesterday that there will be no team ascending to the Americas League next year because the Guard failed to meet the deadline to agree to the team participation agreement. Therefore, the Guard won't be coming in, and this is the real part that got a lot of backlash, is that nobody else is coming in instead. Those players get screwed over, no other organisation can buy those players out, and they will explain their pretty poor reasoning, I think, for this over the coming minutes. As Ludwig says, seriously reconsider, let the players keep the slot and allow someone to buy out their contracts plus franchise fees, or let M80 go as runner-up, make the last year of my life not a waste. And this is also a good point for Ludwig's team and Moist Esports, Moist Moguls, whatever, that those guys, you know, lost to some great teams like this. But, you know, even losing in that way doesn't necessarily matter, because ideally, for teams like, let's say, DSG, I think even Toast made this point that, well, you know, let's say the Guard win last year, or this year, which they did, and let's say M80 win next year, then after those two teams go up, then there's a better chance for other teams to get through. But now it's like, well, no, you didn't qualify anyway, unlucky, so some of these great players are going to be still down in challenges, so it actually screws over other teams as well that might have been second or third best, and might potentially, well, still be second or third best next year, despite, you know, that really shouldn't be the case, I would say. As TenZ says, wait, so Ascension was just pointless then if they aren't going to move up any team, which is also like the way that most people will read this is exactly like this, and it's totally understandable that this just seems like it's just terrible optics from Riot. They have their reasons, and we'll dive into those reasons. I don't think they're particularly good reasons, and we'll get to that here in a second. Even as Ye says, no way Riot basically told the Guard players, congrats on winning Ascension, but choose a better org next time if you want to actually play in franchising. And this is the thing for some players, and where the incentives might lie going forwards, is that players will now be concerned signing for organisations in Tier 2, even taking a salary doing so, because if that organisation isn't the best, they might end up getting screwed over. Now, the America's VALORANT Players Association actually also came up with a statement here. Now, I don't know if these guys actually have any teeth, really, to do anything, but they do say that the Guard and Riot both acted without consulting the players or the PA ahead of time. This kind of sudden change is harmful and will result in lost jobs and lost value for their hard work to earn a promotion. The AVPA believes and promotes that there is a solution to be found with the players and or a third-party org, and would honour Riot's commitment to expand the VCT and reward challenger teams. So, good statements. quick statement, but is this going to have any impact? Probably not. Riot seem kind of set on their decision. Now, this is what the guards say yesterday. They came up with an update to our fans and the community. Now, I feel bad for the social guy that has to put this out because he clearly had no idea this was coming. As announced by Riot, the guard will not compete as a guest team. First of all, funny they used the term guest team because that was the term that Leo Farrier used, guest slot, that actually caused quite a lot of backlash for him and Riot over the whether, over how they were describing the team that was coming in, because they get 2 seasons, right? You qualify through challenges, through Ascension and win, but you get 2 years in the top league and then you get demoted down again. That's just how it is. It's probably not ideal, but that's how it works. The idea that this was being referred to as a guest team, a guest slot, was causing some criticism, and now the guard, almost in like a middle finger to Riot, it seems to me, are now saying, oh, we're not going to be a guest spot for the new season, and they say that we're disappointed to arrive at this outcome unexpectedly, even though Riot say, and I'm inclined to agree, that they were having these conversations for months. So, it doesn't, I don't know, I don't really buy it from the guard. I don't like either side of this. The guard have screwed up, they're screwed over their players, and it's not good that the guard have declined this, the players didn't know about it, and now they want out of esports entirely, and their players are going to be fed to the lions as a result. So no respect for the big decision makers behind the guard, but then the question is, did they decline this agreement because it was bad? And that was what I raised yesterday. Like, did they actually say no to the participation agreement because they didn't like the terms? Now, apparently, the guest slot situation was inferior. This is an issue, though, because Leo Farrier said, you guys probably remember back at the end of July, that when he actually referred to this guest slot in the first place, and he was getting the backlash for it, he said once they get into the league, they'll be treated like any other team while they're in the league, get the same financial support, play the same number of games, get the same opportunities to compete at global events. So basically saying that the deal for the partnership teams is the same as the deal for the guest teams, as it were. However, last night there were then rumours emerging this isn't the case. It's a 2-year commitment, obviously. Apparently the financial incentive is lower, although it's not clear exactly if this source is valid, but actually it was then confirmed that this part is true, that they don't get a team skin in the game. So the money that the other teams make by having their team skin in, that doesn't happen for the promoted teams, the guest teams, and therefore the deal they get is worse. Now, the deal they get is probably still pretty good. I mean, other organizations will be grasping at the opportunity here to get into the partnership league and would, be begging to buy out the guard spot. And that's where Riot have problems with this. But I still think a lot of the blame on this should go, should fall at the guards, because even though their potential partnership agreement with the league isn't as good as the partnership teams get, it's probably still good enough to justify, signing, and pretty much every team would, unless you wanted to dissolve and get out of esports entirely. So, Leo Farrier, after all the backlash, comes out with a statement last night. This situation is very unfortunate. None of us wanted this outcome. We designed it hoping that teams would get in, but it's not going to happen year 1. Teams competing in challenges knew what they were playing for. Every team that qualified for Ascension signed the team partnership agreement prior to the start of the tournament, and signatures were held in escrow. And then after the tournament concluded, we then needed them to release that signature and, move on with the process, finalize their promotion, but the guard never completed this. So it definitely seems like the guard have screwed over their players big time, but it doesn't mean that Riot should have to follow suit on that, as, they're going to do. We want great organizations to participate in our sport and, hold every candidate to a very high standard. He actually then confirms that both for partnered and ascended teams, so he doesn't use the term guest spots this time, also offer the exact same benefits, the only exception being a team-branded gun skin, which is only available for partner teams. So he confirms that rumor that the deal for the guest teams, the ascended teams, isn't as good as the deal for the partner teams. He does say they get the exact same benefits though, i.e. the same, stipend, financial incentives, prize pools, even though the other rumor was they get less financial incentives. I don't know, but still, it's probably a good deal, let's be honest. But on this particular situation, we considered 3 different options. Allow these 5 players to be picked up by a new organization, promote the Ascension runner-up, or not promote any team. Here's context on why we've chosen the latter. With the way our Path to Pro is designed, it's fair to assume that a free agent team, as we discussed yesterday, might eventually get to challenges and even win Ascension. We want to see 5 friends in a dream making it all the way to the top, and we are prepared for that occasion. So we'll come back to this. In case case a free agent team makes it to an international league, the players would have an opportunity to find an organization that would support them in the league. This particular situation is different because they competed under the guard and became free agents after the fact. Allowing an acquisition by a different organization now opens the door to slots being sold, which we don't allow. So their point is that the guard could sell their spot to another team, and they don't want to allow that to happen. They don't want teams. They don't want mercenary organizations coming into challenges, taking a team, winning Ascension, and then mysteriously, oh, we're going to dissolve now, but we're going to sell our spot to another team. They don't want that to happen, and sure, fair enough. They should put some wording into these contracts or whatever to, ensure that that isn't the case. However, does it mean they need to screw over the players in this case? Especially when the guard aren't doing that. The guard aren't trying to sell their spots. They just want to be done with esports entirely. They have said, it's been confirmed now, I'm pretty sure, that the guard are just going to release all of their players. No buyouts involved. They just want to release their players and just dip from esports entirely. They're not trying to sell that spot to another team. And therefore, in this situation, is this not still 5 friends in a dream that Riot apparently want to see make it to the top? Like, is this not exactly the same situation? Like, the guard have basically said, like, okay, we can't support you guys anymore. We're out of here. So off you go on your own. Is it not basically the same situation? So I don't really understand that. And then the second solution, as they say, is to promote the runner-up M80, and they say questionable precedence. I get this one, right? They don't want to promote a team that didn't win. As they say, the point of Ascension is to reward performance. This is like so... There's got to be some cognitive dissonance going on here. The point of Ascension is to reward performance, and the final sentence says, promotion is earned in-game, not out of it. And I'm like, if promotion's earned in-game, not out of it, did the players not just earn that spot, like, rather than all this out-of-the-game nonsense that's currently happening? So I really just can't... There's a lot of nuance to this situation, but it's really difficult to put the pieces together here, because yes, the guard have screwed over their players, but now Riot are actively saying, yeah, unlucky guys, like, we're going to screw over as well. As they say, very disappointed on behalf of the players who competed the whole season and won't be able to qualify. It's like, you could allow this to happen. They could change their mind, and there is pretty much everyone wants this to change around. Now, this is the other point as well, that apparently a Riot employee has said, we can't and shouldn't make business decisions on behalf of the players. But yeah, that's literally exactly what they're doing, like, because they're preventing these players from coming into another team. So they basically are making business decisions on behalf of those players by, saying, unlucky guys, you can't play. And, so they wouldn't assign them to a new organization. But still, surely, given this circumstance, there's got to be a realization from Riot that this is a rare circumstance, I would say, when a team is going to do this and try and dip out of esports after winning Ascension. And there's got to be some nuance in play where an exception could be found. Because I don't personally see who it hurt or what the risk is by allowing another team to come in and sign these guys. No buyouts, nothing like that. The players can't say to the organization, well, maybe Riot says, look, you can't say to this new org, let's say G2, oh, yeah, if you give us a massive signing bonus, we'll sign for you guys. Like, they don't want any of that BS happening. But, if it goes how you might perceive it to go, then I don't think there's any issue here. And as I mentioned earlier, this was the point here from Anders, that there's this idea of an incentive for the players now. Let's say you're coming into challenges and you see an organization want to sign you, pay you a living wage, but you're concerned that organization might, at the end of the season, just decide to call it a day and not even bother. Do you sign for those guys? Because yes, you want to get a living wage, you want to get a salary, but it almost incentivizes players to become a free agent team with no contract, no salary, nothing, and try and win Ascension that way, because then at least you are guaranteed to be able to sign for a new team. If your organization therefore says no to the partnership agreement, then unlucky you can't do anything. So it's a complete mess, to be honest. Other organizations are clearly interested in getting involved. G2 have made, at least their socials made it very clear, they would sign these guys if the option was there, but as it stands, the option isn't there. Even Marco from M80 kind of gave a letter here to Leah Farrier and says, look, I think the best option is to promote M80. He's going to say that it's his own organization, but, and he says that even we would, pay for these guys and potentially help them sign elsewhere, like, given the situation. So, yeah, he wants a meeting with them, but, it seems to me that Riot aren't going to change their mind on this. It seems they're pretty steadfast that they've made the correct decision, even though I don't think that's the case. That's pretty much where we are for the moment here, and it seems like, the guard guys will just get screwed over. No other organization will be able to come in. Does that mean there's going to be 2 teams that ascend next year? I don't know, but I think the Dapper's assessment pretty much sums up what a lot of people feel about this whole Ascension Challenges Tier 2 situation. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.